And think of it, man. It takes a lot of focus, and it's more so a mental game when you talk about baseball and you look at the things they got to do.
Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast. The Run with Manny Wilson podcast. The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. Hey, man, we got a great episode for you today on July 14th, 2022. We got some basketball topics, MLB topics coming up. And today is usually the day for callers, but it looks like we ain't got none in there. So we'll swipe past that. I'll give you the question and we'll swipe past that. But look, I got to give you a warning right now. Look, some of you, this topic is gonna rub some of y'all the wrong way with this basketball, and I'm just saying because a lot of y'all be doing some fugazi things, and y'all be wilding out, don't show no loyalty to your friends, your relationship, your family, to nobody, not even your damn self, to be honest. But look, that's exactly why I say, it's gonna rub y'all the wrong way, but you gotta stick with me. So look, first off, man, Damian Lillard, he recently just got a bag with the Portland Trail Blazers, signed for a 2-year, $122 million extension with the Trail Blazers, knowing damn well they're not going to win nothing. Bradley Beal also did the same thing or with different numbers in Washington with the Wizards, but his was like a 5-year deal, pretty much implementing he's not going anywhere, signed a no trade clause, all of that. And these guys are considered loyal. This is what you call loyalty in the NBA. And a lot of people say, well, that loyalty is stupid because they're not about to win a damn thing. Or, the loyalty doesn't even exist in the NBA at this point anymore. And that's not really true. That's far from true because these guys are a clear example. That's all I'm saying. They're a clear example. But the only problem is they're loyal to the wrong organization. Because, yes, you may not get traded. Yes, you caught a bag. And yes, you're there long term. You're comfortable. You don't have to worry about anything. And again, but the organization, what are they doing to help you fund this relationship? So here you go. You're putting all your effort. You're playing for this losing franchise, this team who's not making any adjustments and losing night after night, not making the playoffs. But you got the bag. When there's other players out there with a great organization, they're getting the bag as well. They don't have to worry about being traded, but yet they're competing for a championship. There's a difference in that. And that's why I say, okay, it's okay to be loyal to a franchise, but just make sure it's the correct organization that's going to make sure they put that same effort into you. Because look at the guys we hold on a pedestal. Look at that. Look at the Kobe's, the Dirk Nowinski's, the Tim Duncans, Hakeem Olajuwons, Michael Jordan. We put these guys on such a high pedestal because they stayed loyal with the franchise that invested into them. Think about it. If the Lakers, there was a time when Kobe was talking about leaving and going anywhere because the Lakers weren't really putting pieces around him. They weren't putting nobody around him to help him get into position to win a championship. So yes, he was a loyal player. Yes, he was trying to be there for the long run, but at the same time, that thing clicked in his mind like, okay, it's time to go if y'all not going to be on board with trying to win with me because I need to win. And that's my thing here. So you can be loyal. You can be loyal and the league will take notice of you being loyal because if you're loyal to a team, everybody in the league is going to pay attention to it. They're going to know. The teams are going to say, okay, well, if he's looking for a new home, he's welcome here because now I know we can stretch. We have him for the long run. We don't have him for 1 or 2 years. We got him here for about 4 or 5 or however long he want to work out this deal till we can build and get this solid team around him. And it's the same way when you look at the situation in the opposite with these guys who are unloyal to their team. Oh, man. Yeah, we know plenty of guys like that going 1 year, 2 year, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. Oh, that's a surprise. And then back at it with another team or all these other different teams. I'm going to play here with this guy. No, I'm going to go back over here on the other side of the country, play with this guy. We know a couple of them like that. Come on now. Let's be honest. KD and Kyrie is the first two that come to mind, but they are definitely not alone with it. They're just the two that's the most skillful players that's doing that right now. So they obviously get more of the attention. But because of that, the league take notice of that as well. That's part of the reason why these two players are struggling to find a home right now. They can't find a home because why would I give up my whole entire team just for a player who's going to be with me for 1 to 2 years max, knowing this is probably not even where he wants to be. So once that contract is done, he's going somewhere else. Like that's all I'm saying. That's a primary reason. And the league takes note of all of that stuff. So, that brings me to the question here as well, because the question was for the callers. It was typically, when is it time to stop being loyal to a losing franchise? And if you ask me that, when is it time to stop being loyal to a losing franchise? The question or the answer to that question is as simple as about 4 to 5 years. Now, there's two different pieces when I say this 4 to 5 years, because one of them is, okay, 4 to 5 years and this team is actually doing things. They're getting pieces around you and they're building. They're bringing in co-stars, bringing in great role players, new coaches. All of this stuff changes are happening and they're not losing because they're doing the same thing they've been doing for the last several years. Now, that's okay. If that's the case, then that's fine. But if the team is just losing and you've been there for 4 to 5 years, ain't nothing changed. The coach ain't changed. The personnel hasn't changed. Nothing. Yeah, it's time to go. Time to get up out of here. And it's as simple as that. But we got so much more coming up, man. We got more topics. So stick tight with us. Some MLB topics coming up. How can you actually slow the game of baseball? Or how can you actually speed the game of baseball up? And if it's possible to do so, we got some Donovan Mitchell news as well. So just stay tuned with us and we will be right back with some more on the run. Now, just because you're busy doesn't mean you got to be stressed. I'm crazy busy right there with you, but it can be easier. Next time you're on a run, just make it more fun and listen to The Run with Manny Wilson.
Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast. The Run with Manny Wilson podcast. The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson. On July 14, 2022, news for The Run. The Utah Jazz are now open to trade deals involving shooting guard Donovan Mitchell. Now, this is interesting because previously they declined any interest in trades that involved Donovan Mitchell in the package. But now that they're open to that, it says nothing less than if they get rid of Donovan Mitchell, they are officially rebuilding and going to restructure this team. But to add more in the NBA Commissioner Adam Silver says he is hopeful there will be a change in the NBA's age limit in the next collective bargaining agreement, calling it the right thing to do. So they're trying to change the age limit to be able to play in the NBA. And at this time, I believe it's age 20, and it may go back down to age 18, which would also be very cool. But look, man. Now, I mentioned we had baseball topics coming up, and I say that because, I was watching the Dodgers game the other night, and it was a really good game. I kind of knew that they were going to come back. They were playing the Cardinals. It was the second game of that series against the Cardinals, and they were down 6-0 going into the sixth inning, and they came back. They had two or more points in each inning after the sixth. Ended up winning. Had a lot of hits in the sixth. But it was just a huge turnaround from what I seen. And the Cardinals, man, they were struggling to get things done after the sixth. But ultimately, the Dodgers, they're a great team, well put together team. They played great as they rallied together in that second half of the game. They hit 8 out of the 12 hits. Came after the sixth inning, after Wainwright for the Cardinals was put out the game. And then the Dodgers, they allowed 0 points total after the 6th inning. The Cardinals couldn't even get on the board after that. So it was crazy. And Will Smith, he hit that homer in the 6th or the 7th, the top of the 7th, and that really just set it off. But I say all of that to say, man, not once during this game did I think, okay, well, it needs to be sped up. Now, I will admit there was a time where I took a break. I did take a break. I was like, okay, this game, it's not over yet. Yes, the Cardinals are winning. Yes, they're winning. But ultimately, the game is not over yet. I'm going to stick with it. Let me just go grab a snack or whatever. I'll come back, relax, take a shower. And then, I'll regroup and then watch this game. And when I did that, that's when the Dodgers went on that big run. That's when they started getting hit after hit, doing their thing. But ultimately, I did not care that the game was long. The game of baseball is not supposed to be played at a fast pace like basketball or football or even hockey, because look about it and think of it, man. It takes a lot of focus, and it's more so a mental game when you talk about baseball and you look at the things they got to do. If they're not stealing a base or trying to get somebody out on a base, it's no reason to rush the focus. That's the whole thing here. Because look, if you're pitching, first you got to get the signal. You get the signal from the guy, from the catcher, and then he tells you what it is. Okay, you got to figure out who you're actually throwing the ball to. Is he good at hitting these type of balls that I throw? Is he good at missing these type of balls that I throw? How can I put this? How can I throw this and kind of trick him out in a way? So you're thinking about all of those different things. You're not just getting up there whipping the ball back and forth. Boom, boom. Okay, he hit it. Damn, whatever. Like, you're not doing that. That's a sloppy game of baseball right there, if that was the case. And then for the batter, you look at their perspective and what they have to do. They got to get up there first, make sure they're comfortable, adjust the grip on the bat, and be all right. And then think about the same mental game, but from the alternative perspective of, okay, this pitcher, he's really good at throwing these type of balls. Damn, I really know I can't even hit when he throw this mean ass curveball, or I know I really suck at hitting this ball at his straight fastball. Like, these certain things are pivotal when you're playing baseball. And it's different from a viewer's perspective, because you look at the viewer's perspective, all we have to do is watch. We just got to get up there and watch. We don't really have to focus up as much as the actual athletes do when they're out there on the field, pitching, throwing, running, whatever the case is. We don't have to be that locked in when we're just watching the game. So it's slightly different. But all of that is said because it's no way to really speed the game up of baseball. You speed the game up of baseball, you get a sloppy game. You get out there and just start swinging or just start throwing, you get a sloppy game. That's just not how the game is played, and it's never been played like that through the history of baseball. And that's something that I feel like, it's no point of even trying to change, because you try and change the fact that baseball is played slow. One, it's gonna rob fans of actually liking the game and who love the way the game is played, who actually pay attention to the focus and who is actually locked into the game that way. And then also, you've already tried to speed up the game. Commissioner Rob Manfield tried to speed up the game and it didn't do anything. The games got longer, as a matter of fact, from judging from the last full season of baseball before COVID. The games got even longer. So that tells you everything you need to know right there about who can speed up baseball and how you can actually speed up baseball. It's a game of focus at the end of the day. It takes a lot of focus to play this game, just like any other sport and any other team sport. And that's like saying, can you slow basketball down? Can you slow football down? It's too fast. Can you slow hockey down? Like, come on, man. Like, no, that's a silly suggestion there. But anyway, no, I appreciate you hanging with me today. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Be sure to share this with a friend, a brother, a neighbor, a cousin, an uncle, auntie, anyone that may be close to you. I promise you they won't be mad. I promise you they won't mind if you send them this podcast and say, hey, check this out. So go ahead and do that. But anyway, man, no, greatly appreciate you. Be sure to follow me on Instagram as well at I am Manny Wilson. And you can follow the podcast page as well at The Run Podcast. But we will be back on Monday, and so on and so on and so on.